Good evening, everyone. This is Iyad Murtada from OpenThinking. I would like to thank you all for joining this webinar this evening. This webinar is the first webinar in a series of webinars related to innovation as part of the OpenThinking project that's sponsored by all our generous sponsors. And we are going to have these webinars happening every first Wednesday of every month, hopefully. And we are going to have so many speakers. Today with us, we have a very special guest, Mr. Vishal Pandey. He is the director of Classical Consulting Group, and he's going to share with us some ideas related to innovation management and market research. Now, our topic today is based on a very interesting book called Innovation is Everybody's Business. This book written by Mr. Robert B. Tucker, and it's a really nice book. I recommend you to read it. If you want to get it, you can get it through Amazon, or you can get it through Kinokuniya Book World store in Dubai Mall. Now, I'm going to go with this webinar and discuss some concepts, the main ideas in this book, and after that, I'm going to give the mic to Mr. Vishal to go over his presentation. So the first thing, you need to understand that innovation is not something that you do after you get your work done. It's how you approach your work. This is the first principle that Mr. Robert Tucker spoke about in his book. So let me share with you, the 4 principles that he called them 4 innovation skill principles. He said first, like he said, innovation is not something that you do after your work. So you need to think taking innovation as an approach. When you are doing your work, you need to think, how can I do it differently? How can I think about it in a different way, approach it from a different angle? In that case, you will have the innovation mindset for you to be able to reinvent everything that you are doing and say, why are we doing it in this way, not in that way? So this is the first principle. The second principle is innovation is about more than inventing new products. It's about figuring out how to add value where you are. And here the critical word is value. You need to understand, how can I bring value in the position, in the product, in the department that I'm in, rather than I need to think outside the box like what they say. No, think in the box and say, how can I add more value inside the box? And after that, maybe I don't need to go and buy the new machine or get something really bigger. Let me share with you a very short story here. So there's a manufacturing facility that they put air conditioners inside boxes. And one of the guys, he said, what about if some of the workers took the air conditioners out, and after that they closed the box and we shipped it without having the air conditioner inside that box? So the solution was, that let's bring this machine that will go and see and weight this box, see if this box is heavy, the meaning that there's a air conditioner inside. If this box is light, so in that way someone put some rocks or something, or maybe it's empty. Another worker came and he said, no, why go and invest all this money on that solution? We can put a very simple fan at the end of the production line. So in that way, if the box is empty, the fan will throw the box away. If it's full with the air conditioner, so in that way we can move it to the production line. Always think about the value that you can add, not just I want to be innovative and think outside the box. The third principle, you can innovate in any job, any department, and any organization. You can say, my organization, it's not innovative because I'm working in a bank or I'm working in just a service sector. No, you can think and innovate, and you need to be able to sell your idea. You need to be able to show the organization that this can add value by generating more revenue or by cutting costs. So, innovation can happen everywhere. But the most important thing, which is principle number 4, innovation is about taking action. You need to be able to take action. And what do you mean by taking action? You need to bring your innovation to life. So many people, they came up with so many innovations, and after that, they didn't go over what we call it the execution phase. So if you don't execute your innovation and bring it to life and understand what are the issues with it and reinvent it all the time, it's going to die at the end. So these are the 4 innovation skill principles. Now, Mr. Robert, he talked also about 7 fundamentals innovation skills that you need to have for you to be able to innovate in your work. The first thing he talked about, embrace the opportunity mindset, which is add value to every task and project. So if you think about it, how they created FedEx, the guy who was in the airport, he said, all these people are coming to us and saying, please, I want this to be shipped overnight. So please put it on your flight and send it somewhere. And the guy, he said, why don't we create this service where we'll be able to ship overnight some items, and that way we operate special jets just for that. So you need to think about how can you see a problem and convert it into opportunity, so in that way you will be able to invent something in your market. The second thing, become assumption assaulter. When you will think, oh, we can do this. Why? Because you have some assumptions saying this is the only way that you can do it, which is this is what's gonna kill your ideas. So you need to think about all these blocks that are in front of you, and you need to throw them away. There are no assumptions when we are thinking about innovations. Anything is possible. Number 3, you need to think about how can you create passion with your end customers. How can you, when someone is using Apple products, they have so much passion in these products. They stand in lines, for 4 or 5 hours just to get these products. Why? Because there's a passion in it. It's not just an innovative product, but people, they love it. So you need to understand how can you create this product and make customers fall in love with it. You need to think about the customers first before thinking about the product. And this is the mistake that we sometimes we say, how can we create amazing product? No, how can we create amazing customers experience, and after that find the right product that will fulfill these experiences. Then think ahead of the curve. All the time you are going to have problems. All the time someone is going to overcome some of the challenges that you are facing. So thinking ahead and trying to plan a long-term strategy of innovation by understanding what kind of innovation we need to bring now and what we are going to bring in the future. If you are bringing something innovative now, it's not going to last for long. So you need to understand all these hidden opportunities and discover them, and step by step understand what you need to introduce to the market. Number 5, become an idea factory. You need to understand that when you invent some new ideas, or when you have some innovations, so many people are going to take these ideas and imitate them. Look at the cell phones, iPhone, Samsung, Nokia, everyone is imitating everyone. So you need to have idea factory that will give you more and more ideas and more way for you to be able to bring them to the market. And that's really critical and important. Get ideas from your companies, but also think about open innovation concept, where I can get ideas from customer. I can make my customers as, like a factory where they are providing me with all these ideas, because they are dealing with the products. They understand it much better than me. Number 6, become a standout collaborator. Collaboration and innovation are critical. You can't really, innovate without having the ability to work in teams, without getting all the departments working together for them to understand what are the issues. Innovation currently is not about the product, it's about integrating the product with the service. Amazing innovative product without having service behind it, customers will not be happy. So you need to think, how can I have product innovation and service innovation as well? And number 7, build the buy-in for new ideas. It's really funny, when 3M, they were introducing the CDs to replace the floppy disk, people were saying, why do we need CDs? Why do we need laser CDs to have all this information in it? So if the guy wasn't smart enough to convince the management that this is the new thing that's going to go and make a really huge profit and revenue to 3M, that project will not go through. So you need to think, how can I sell my ideas to my boss, to my boss? And at the same time, how can I sell my idea to the end consumer? Because even if you sell it to your management and your management will agree and bring it to the market, if the end consumer will not buy in your idea and will think, no, this is a fad, this is not something that they are going to use or benefit from, you will lose in the market. So these are 7 fundamental innovation skills that are mentioned in the book. The book got so many great examples, and it's really full of so many insights and how to implement all these innovation skills fundamental. With that, this is the summary of the main concepts in the book. I'm going to move the mic to Mr. Vishal, and he's going to share with you so many things about innovation. And what he's going to talk about is really interesting, because when we are discussing this, he told me, what is the benefit of innovation without market research? People, they can bring the ideas to the market, but actually, what do you think? Do you think innovation can work without market research?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a very, very lively, thought-provoking introduction that you've made. Innovation, innovation, innovation. I think Middle East is an emerging economy. We are, we are competing with businesses are coming from North America, from Asia. It's going to be a competitive market. Now, in order to be competitive, what is it that businesses, individuals, startups would need to do to be up to pace with the market in terms of the current times that we live in? And the answer really would come through market research. Yes, we need to innovate, we need to have new thoughts, we need to come up with ideas, but I think any business venture that you launch, you need to have your numbers in place. You need to know what your costs are. You need to know where my target market is, where is my business going to be positioned, how much am I gonna sell. Based on that, what will be my sales, what is my competition doing, where is the supply chain, where will the products come from, where will I store them, what is the credit period. So I think it's very important, especially when you're doing a startup venture, to understand where the market is for that product and service. So what we're gonna quickly do is to my presentation is really divided into two parts. I'm gonna capture market research as a function separately. Again, this is a very high level. We're not getting into details about what is qualitative research, what is quantitative research. We're not going to be discussing the sample size. We're not going to be discussing different fundamentals. What we're going to really discuss is really the macro view, the larger picture, which any entrepreneur, a student, a business owner needs to know. And a lot of times, you would realize as we go through the conversation is we're doing market research in our day-to-day lives. It's just that a lot of things, you go out to a shopping mall, you go to grocery, you're comparing products, you're comparing pricing, you want to know about discounts, you want to know about offers, you want to get, if you're carrying a loyalty card, you want, credits into that, and you want to really track it. That's really, you are somewhere getting involved as a consumer, and you're doing your research before you take any decision. So now the structure of this market research subject is we're going to discuss what is market research, why do we do market research, who does market research, when do you do market research, how do you do market research, and then some market research principles. Okay, now what's really the definition of market research? I think a lot of us, as I just mentioned, we go out shopping, we visit malls, we're house hunting most of the times. If you're living in Dubai, you change your workplace location changes. You're constantly comparing numbers. You're constantly comparing the better service. You're constantly comparing the products. So it's really, market research is nothing, just you're collecting and analyzing information about capabilities within the market. It can be a product, it could be a service, it could be just anything. You're basically creating a comparative statement. So that's really the real definition of marketing. So in a layman's language, I would call it window shopping. You go out shopping in a mall, you want to know everything. What is market research? Market research is thus a continuous process for gathering data on product characteristics, supply capabilities, business practices, plus the analysis of the information to make an acquisition. So this is more from a consumer's point of view. Now, this you could apply in business research. If I'm a businessman, I want to add a new product to my portfolio. The fundamentals remain the same. I still need to know who my competition are, what are they doing, how much are they selling. So it's again, by case to case, the application of market research, the intensity and the level, the methodology would really differ. Commercial item, any item that is a type of customary use for non-governmental purposes that can be sold, leased, or licensed to general public, or that has been offered for sale. Lease license to general public may also include items that will be available in future or require some modification. So eventually, what are we trying to? Our goal is really the bottom line. If you're a housewife, as a housewife, you want to know, where can you put, push your grocery bills down? How do you do it? You want to go to a Carrefour, you want to go to a Lulu, you want to compare, you want to know Is neighborhood shopping slightly expensive than shopping in a Carrefour when you're doing grocery shopping? So as a layman, as a housewife, these are things which are already happening around you in your surroundings. Now, in terms of market research agencies, how do they operate? They basically, research agencies are agencies which uh, we as consumers, businessmen can reach out to them to solicit any particular research problem, a business problem, a market entry study, a market growth related work. Now, why do market research? Again, it's straightforward. It's fairly simple. When I'm acquiring something, the keyword is team. You want to brainstorm. You want to understand what the product, the service is, the target market, the positioning. You want to really create an engaging discussion. The other side could be you want to learn a particular thing about a new industry. You want to get into heavy metal, or you want to get into wet chemicals. We just don't know, and you are a businessman, somebody has told you, well, wet chemicals is a big opportunity in UAE. Now, how do you go about it? You want to find out, where is wet chemicals, where do they come from, how much do they cost, where is the application for wet chemicals. Chemicals are usually applied in finishes. When you see a luxury hotel like a Madina Jumeirah, all you see is really a finish. Those are not real time stones, or which they've got. They're actually finishes. So where is the market? Where did they get it from? How was it applied? How much does the application cost? Where do you get it? What are the after sales service requirements for that product? Is the maintenance high? Because if the maintenance is high, then the overall development for the establishment, the cost of maintaining is high. So those are the kind of things any business venture, you as a business venture, should you want to get into wet chemicals, you want to know. Or a hotel like Madina Jumeirah, if they want to say, okay, this is the kind of style of theming, or product we want to have, they also want to know eventually, how much will it cost me to maintain such a product. Again, continuing to why do we do market research? Taking an informed business decision. At the end of the day, it's all about numbers. It's about money. They need to add up. You need to know how much you are in minus, how much you are in plus. So type of contract, use of incentives, best value, small business considerations. Who does market research? So again, a small, it could be a contracting company, a purchase manager in a contracting company. He wants to know, where do I get my best deal from? It could be a facility manager. It could be a small business owner. It could be just anyone. It could be we as consumers. It could be conglomerates. It's just anyone and everyone.
So here in UAE, where do you see, when you are dealing with companies, who are the person who's contacting you to ask for market research? Do you see it's the business development manager, or do you see the GM? Who is the main person here in the companies?
I think, yeah, there are a couple of types of the requirements. There are when you're entering into a new market, you require market research. So it could be a trade organization here which has been approached by, for example, UKTI, UK Trade and Investments, have been approached by a British multinational. They want to know, say they want to get into, say, the butter market. It's an FMCG product. They would approach them, and then the UKTI might have some knowledge of this, but they might then decide, well, the client needs a slightly more detailed study. So they will reach out to a research specialist who specializes in this sector. So that's one kind of the requirement. The second kind of a requirement, you have a big conglomerate based in Dubai. It wants to expand into Saudi Arabia. Well, for example, they make local Emirati sandals. Now these guys, want to enter into Saudi market. They want to know how big is the Saudi market for footwear. They want to know, of the total footwear market, how much is the sandals market. They want to know, of the sandals market, how big is the high-end sandals market, 300 Riyal plus, because that's the market share you want to, if it is, say, 200,000 units a year, what market share would I want out of that? So that is another kind of market research. The third kind of market research would be pure consumer research. You are a restaurant, you're an investor, you want to come to Dubai, you want to open a high-end shisha restaurant. You tell me as an agency that, well, I want to open a restaurant, 150 dirhams, average check, with shisha. That's the kind. Where do I go? Who is my target market? What cuisines will I have? Uh, what are the buying patterns? Do people Google before coming? Is parking a problem? Is shisha a must? Is see-through kitchen? How important is a see-through kitchen? So, it has to, this is a pure consumer research. You're going to build a 3-page, very detailed questionnaire asking everything about what the consumer wants. Where is the Dubai lifestyle? If I'm living in Dubai and my workplace is in TCOM, do I go to Dubai Marina for my dinner on a Thursday? Uh, we did a similar study in which we were trying to find a correlation to where you work, to where you live, and to where would you dine on a high-end restaurant on a Thursday night or a Friday night. And interestingly, we found that there was no correlation, which was fairly interesting, because which basically means I could be living in Dubai, living in TCOM, but Thursday is priority to me. It's a family day. I want to take my family to a good decent joint. It's a social. I have friends coming over, so I don't mind driving. However, it also came out in the research that uh, parking and accessibility sometimes can be a big. You just don't want to go to a place because there are parking issues. So that's another kind of survey. The third kind of market research. Yeah.
So do you see a lot of companies here in UAE, they are actually doing the market research before taking their product to the market or before, launching their business?
Definitely, yes. Yes and no, both. I think there was a study published by ISOMAR of the United States, and it said that startup companies or even new product which are launched into the United States market, only 84, or it said, if I recall right, 84, 85% only 84% do not undertake any form of market research. So it basically means you have the line manager in a Procter and Gamble. He's just taking I mean, Procter and Gamble might not be the best example, but a smaller, say a multinational, uh, and that business line manager is taking his decision based on what his salesmen have told him, what he has heard, what his wife tells him, what his wife's friend tells him. So yes, I think the industry, while in North America has come to age, in Europe it's far advanced. Middle East is still a long way to go. There are new channels which are coming up. You have the online channel. You still, I think, Middle East face to face is very important, because people don't want to talk over the phone. A lot of times people are not comfortable. People in this part of the world are also secretive. You might have your competitor calling you, so you really want to be cautious who is calling you, and why should you be giving that information. So again, Middle East is a different market. It's a big market, but I think fundamentally, yes, there is a growing awareness amongst people that they want to do research, not only for they want to get convinced, for whatever. If I'm launching a spa, I want to be convinced there's a market for the spa. I'm going to a right location. I'm creating a product which has either is a destination spa, or is a spa which is catering to the local catchment area. So these things are critical. I think some business owners are very whether they do it themselves in a slightly more structured fashion, or they outsource it to the agency. I mean, both has its pluses and minuses. An agency brings in more a neutral factor into it. They're not biased. They would reach out. Whereas if you're doing it yourself, you might just be reaching out to if you're a Lebanese national, maybe you would tend to talk to more Lebanese. So that would give you some kind of skewed data, which might not be best for the spa which you're looking for an X location, because each location is unique.
I completely agree with you. I remember one of the people that I know. He opened his business. He got a salon for haircut, and he decided to open it just around Dubai Mall in one of the buildings. And he asked the management. They told him, this building is going to be the hub in the next 6 months. So he opened his business, and for the last 2 years, all the constructions around it's not working. There are no roads there. There are no parkings, and he didn't do his homework in doing this market research. So definitely, we can trust the people around us. They can give us so much information, but if you get information from the expert about whatever area that you are in, you will have more information to make decisions. Now, what about information, especially in Middle East and UAE? Are there a lot of research and information for people to get to be able to do business? Because I can see that information is really hard to get about any industry here.
Yeah. Yes, there are a couple of methods which we employ when you presenting a data to a client. I would tend to use 3 to 4 different channels, mean sources. For example, I would, if I'm doing say giving the same example, a sandals market in Saudi Arabia or in UAE, the first thing I want to know is against that, there's an import code for that product. I definitely want to know what is being imported, what kinds of sandals are being imported into. So there is some kind of straight statistics which will be available with the customs, with the government machinery about imports. There will be statistics about re-exports because Dubai is a major re-export hub as well. So you want to know what is coming in, of which what is being locally consumed, and then what is being just not being utilized, but it's re-exported because Dubai is a logistics hub. So that's one. The second thing is I would tend to rely, if I'm doing again a sandals market study, would be to understand meet the competitors. It's not easy to meet the competitors. It's not easy to get information out of them, but you really need to be, you need to do some mystery shopping. You need to do some uh, secret calling. You might go in as to their retail shops as a shopper. You might try and call their owner or the GM and say, well, I'm calling from whatever, somebody who is a buyer. I want to buy it in bulk, and try and get him to talk and try and meet him. And but there are instances where people bluntly tell you no because they sense you're a competitor. So then you need to change your strategy to figure out what other way or route I would take to reach out to that. And the third really would be to put in some numbers, because there are a lot of industry where people do talk. If I'm doing FMCG, you go to craft food, you meet the category head for say the butter, and the guy is gonna give you some numbers, something, and then what you do is once you have interviewed 5 6 guys, you really sit down, put your head together, and corroborate those numbers. You really. So Iyad has told me X, the other person told me Y, and Z. So and then I cross question. I asked a craft food guy about the other dairy company, Unikai, whatever, and then you crisscross, and then you say, okay, I think the number this guy is saying, it just does not make sense. There is no statistics to support it. There were no. He was the only guy who just gave me a number which was completely out of the. So these are really the ways, possible ways. You could again run a statistical tool. You could put in some numbers in Excel. There would be in each industry, in each sub product category, there would be defined historical growth rates. You can estimates when you speak to the same guys, how much do they think this sandal market is growing in UAE, for example. High end is roughly growing at 12-13%. So then you apply those numbers, then you minus what is being locally, then you say, okay, this much is being locally produced because we definitely know there are 6 factories there. I believe the factory guy I met, he said he's producing 100,000 sandals. So okay, what is being produced locally, and then you, based on your trade interviews, you realize, okay, well, these many are locally being sold, and this much are being sold to the other GCC countries. So this is really the way, and I would run scenarios. Obviously, I cannot say well this is the number. So when I'm presenting this to the client, I would present a best case scenario, low case scenario, and a high case scenario. So when he's applying these numbers into his financial model to develop a financial feasibility for his project, a business plan for his project, he should see all the 3 scenarios to see how the numbers look and is there viability for this venture.
Exactly. Thank you very much. It's really important here why we are speaking about market research in a webinar related to innovation. Like we said, innovation is everyone's business. So if it's everyone's business, you can't expect for you to go and innovate and bring your product to the market without doing your homework. And doing your homework is all about getting information from the market, getting feedback from the market. So in that way, if this innovation that you think it's gonna be wow to the consumer, it's actually wow to the consumer. I will share a very nice local example from a company in Abu Dhabi. So this guy, he decided to quit working in a bank and go and open his shop to bake some cakes. So what he did, he decided before doing that and venture into the unknown, he decided to do market research. So what he started doing, he started cooking some of these cakes and give it to the people inside the bank. And the first person would say, this is really good. The other person would say, no, this is so much sweet. Reduce the sugar. The other person would say, why don't you put some cream on top? And after that, he got all this feedback from them. And after that, he started giving them to other branches and other branches and other branches. And now he got so much feedback about them. And he got so many loyal customers who tried these products and who liked them. And after that, he said, well, he sent an email to all these people who tried his cake. And he said, if I launch something like this, would you buy? If I launch it with low sugar, with a cream on top, with a chocolate inside? And they said yes. And after that, they said, would you order? And they said yes. And after that, he was able to bring this shop to the market, and he got customers. So think about it. Innovation is not about doing whatever inside your head or whatever you think about and bring it to the market. It's as well understanding what customers are looking for and how can you meet their demand, how can you add value to them. So definitely, market research is essential for innovation.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks. Now coming to yes. When do you do market research? Obviously, as we just discussed, you could be doing market research at any given point of time. You're at a conception stage, or you are an existing business. You're not finding your right direction. You still think, well, competition's market share is growing. I might be doing something terribly wrong. Or you say, well, I want to enter into a new market. So three different scenarios why you would do market research. So I think it's completely, I think, a clear link to, as Iyad is mentioning, into innovation, because as you think you are innovating, you definitely want to test them. You definitely want to run some numbers. You definitely want to reach out to the consumers. You definitely want to reach out to the trade to make a business case, because you just don't want to launch a product or a service without having your numbers in place. When do you do market research? During the development of programs. We've discussed this to determine a commercial, which is really a financial feasibility, because your market research numbers then at times do feed into if you're doing a full-fledged business plan. To identify commercial standards, there are certain industries, there are municipality defined guidelines. Certain industries like dairy are highly regulated industries. So, or if you're making plastic cups in the UAE, it's a fairly regulated, because there are instances of food poisoning, or even food products you take. So there are more tougher rules. So you need to know them. You need to have thought about all of them, because those are investments into your business. To identify commercial QA practices, to write a performance-based statement. So there has to be a need. So you say, well, sorry. So you say, well, this is why I want to do, there is a need, then I need to do market research. And then you say, well, it will then feed into my commercial decision making for my business. And then overall, well, the whole idea is to make our venture run, or increase our numbers, increase our market share. So there is definitely a link into performance objective. So this is, we've just plotted it into event as against a timeline. How do you do market research? Brainstorm guidance. There are no, I mean, market research could be as low as, in terms of, you could just be doing a discussion. You could be doing a focus group discussion, which is really, you get 6-7 speakers, you have a discussion guide, you take them to the whole research problem, and then you discuss brainstorming each and every step. Make initial suggestions to finish this. So this you could, if you're doing a face-to-face interview, you need to introduce the subject. If you're doing a focus group discussion, you're part of a focus group discussion, you need to introduce the topic. The audience needs to be in sync of what is being discussed, what is the duration, what is the extent. You don't want anyone to deviate, because it's so easy to lose track of your focus. So objectives need to be really told very well. Somebody needs to track time. You need to write down thoughts. A lot of times we do consumer research or business research, you realize you've created a structured questionnaire or a semi-structured questionnaire or a consumer questionnaire. There are some new thoughts which came in. I interview Iyad. I realized, well, Iyad said, well, what about this? What about that? I said, okay. And that's precisely, you always, whenever you're doing any kind of research, and you're going through a structured questionnaire route, you test run it. You test run it with one, two, three, four people to iron out all or any possible issues in terms of, because that would be then data coded. You need to run it in SPSS to get results. So somebody needs to see it from a structural point of view. There are no gaps. There are, if yeses and nos, they are all linked well. And then the same questionnaire is then fed it into, when you're doing your data tabs, it feeds in well, because eventually you want to run some SPSS analysis and get some good insights out of it. So remind everyone of the rules, establish time limits. You don't want to deviate. No editing, no discussion. When done, compile and refine list. Establish a basic need statement, can be simple 1 to 2 sentence, and that's what any research guy should do. You need to sit down first and ask the question, what is it that we're trying to achieve? What is the objective? Where do we want to reach here? What is our eventual goal? So it has to be really, really goal oriented, the research. And that's precisely when I sit down with any client or anyone, you just want to list down the objective and the goal in one line, and then you build around the research methodology, the sample size, the whole modus operandi of the operation. So should it be outsource oriented? And when I say outsource, it's if you're doing a large sample of 1,000, there's a whole lot of logistics. You want to cover the whole 7 Emirates. You want to cover the different nationality, 4 nationality sets: Asians, Emirati, Arab expats, and Westerners. You want to do intercepts in malls. You want to do intercepts in high street locations. There are people who will tell you, well, I don't go to a mall. So you need to figure out if it is a slightly higher salary income bracket that you want to interview, that you might have to do some solicited interviews, because hey, the guy does not go to a mall. Not everyone goes to a mall. Identify sources of information for market research. Group members, research sources of information. Again, this is more if you're doing any secondary information. You need to build the case. You need to identify secondary resources. There are different sources like EIU, government statistics, trade bodies, etc. Develop lists of proposed questions, determines method, and then you would go and discuss this with your client, because that really has a link into your objectives. Determine methods, what methodology you would use. We're not getting into detail about methodology here. Analyze research. So again, just talking briefly about methodology, it could be, as I said, pure consumer research, questionnaire driven, mix of qualitative quant, or only quant, which is straight closed-ended questions. It could be business research, which is very, very qualitative in nature. I want to know if ER is in the training business. I want to know how does the training business work. What are the revenue streams? What are the marketing tactics you use? So that I would term as more of business research. So then analyze research, support commerciality in the decision, depending on whether you're doing a feasibility. I mean, your market research is feeding into a feasibility, or it's just a pure consumer research. Translate market research findings into PWS requirements, document details in report, post on homepage. Principles of market research. So again, where would you use it? For early stage of your business, you want to involve users, you want to communicate, if it is for an internal stuff. Think of market research as an irate process. Tailor the investigation, refine as you proceed. I think I will skip this.
Okay, so we are going to move to the next section of the webinar, which is related to innovation management. So you did your market research, and now you found a segment that you are looking at, and you discover that the innovation that you came up, there's a valuable size in the market, and you'll be able to make revenue out of it. Now, how can you manage this innovation? How can you ensure that your product will not be the Kodak of the market? How your product would not be like what happened with Nokia? How can you stay actually in the business and make sure that this innovation that you have is reinventing itself, or you are reinventing it to be able to bring it to the market? So this is the second section that Sir Vishal will cover.
I think innovation, as I said, and as discussed in the as discussed in the book which Iyad is talking about, I think it's about constantly thinking back to your basics. Thinking about market research, thinking about correlating into what context you're talking of. So let's start about what characteristics of a successful innovation. Cooperation with external experts. So you want to build in a hypothesis. You want to know what a Harvard Business School, if there's a particular subject, it's already, there is a lot of literature. You want to do your literature review. You want to read different business journals. You want to really develop an academic piece of literature before you move it into the industry. So that is one area you want to really understand, read about. Proper rate of risk taking. You don't want to innovate. You don't want to be so innovative in your business that, well, there are chances, it's a 50-50 chance. So, well, in any venture, you want to mitigate your risk to the least, because you're putting in investments. There is a return of investments you wish to have out of your business. So as any business owner, as a manager, as a consultant, this is when you're advising a client or you're running your own business, you really need to think about your risk taking appetite, risk taking ability. Employees motivation. Employees are willing to improve the product and they are operation of the whole company. Now this is more from an if I'm an employee of a company, how am I thinking? I conduct market research day in day out. How do I better the process? How do I streamline the process? How do I, in case I'm not there in the business tomorrow, I fall sick, what is the continuity? Is there a mechanism which automatically flows like a machine? So that is what we mean here. Continued education of employees. Again, you constantly need to know what's happening in the industry, what's happening in the market, what are the latest technologies which are coming into your business. Ability to finance the innovative activities. Again, different organizations have different budgets. At times budgets are tight. I think this again would be very, very industry or business specific as well.
Do you see difficulty here in companies trying to fund innovation, because once they have a huge market share, it looks like they stop innovating. They are just trying to like milk their current customers.
I think it's a very difficult question to answer. I think if we have to make this question more industry specific, see, certain industries are, for example, if we take dairy, it's a product all of us consume. I mean, these guys are really, really innovative. You go to an Almarai, I think it's one of the benchmark, dairy companies in the Middle East. The amount of money, time, energy they spend in researching, each time, every 2, 3, 4 months, you find a new product of Almarai in the shelf. So that's really innovation. Somebody is finding out where the market is going, where is the consumer taste. They're creating a sample, you're creating a packaging, then you're test running it within the organization externally, and then you say, well, I mean, I've seen a number of new yogurt variants with different packaging, which Almarai has introduced over the last 1 year. So somebody behind is doing the thinking, because I mean, at the end of the day, yes, dairy is milk is all produced in largely in UAE, but there is a huge demand. Dairy is a big industry. So dairy, from a dairy perspective, yes, there is a lot of product innovation. There is a lot of innovation happening. But I mean, if you're talking about a Samsung and or iPhone, I mean, I think most of these companies research in their parent, wherever they're headquartered, and they have huge research centers. So you might just have a sales office or a support office really in the Middle East. I mean, LinkedIn has a sales office here. Really, they don't. I think all their technological innovation happens out of US. So uh,
Yeah, I like your concept, because when I go to the supermarket, I can see all these new cream cheese with garlic, and cream cheese with olives, with the small olives in it, and it's a cream cheese with special flavors. And they give me all these samples, and at the end they have them on the shelf. And with a simple product like this, they can see if it's moving ahead, if the customers are liking it, or what's happening with it. And I can see so many innovation happening in that sector. Definitely, especially here in UAE, any product that consumer are consuming is a huge market there's a huge market for it, and you can see how so many, like, I don't know, flavors are coming in a way. You go to the supermarket, you don't know which one you need to select anymore.
Absolutely. Now I'll skip this because we're going to go into a slide which combines all the different kinds of innovations, which definitions, which we're going to discuss. Now there's something called as the Oslo Manual. It's basically the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. They have a guideline basically which defines, how do you collect and use data on industrial innovation. Now these are certain definitions which we have picked up from there. Now let's just read them, what they sound like. Product innovation: a good or service that is new or significantly improved. This includes significant improvements in technical specification, components, material, software in the product, user friendliness, or functional characteristics. So that's really product innovation. I think it's more to do with product based uh, uh, product based businesses we're talking of. Process innovation. I think process innovation can feed it into any industry. It's irrespective of the industry. A new or significantly improved production or delivery method, because in production, whatever you produce, there is a particular process. You want to improve that process. This includes significant changes in techniques, equipments, or software. What is marketing innovation? A new marketing method involving significant changes in product design or packaging, product placement, product promotion or pricing. And that's I think the example I just mentioned of Almarai, that's really what marketing innovation would be. Organizational innovation, a new organizational method in business practices, workplace organization. I think this is really, giving example of Etisalat or Emirates, two leading organizations in the Middle East. They benchmarked against the world's global best. Uh, I mean, a lot has gone behind Emirates and what Emirates had started in with a very modest start in 1985 to where it is today. It's sheer, effort from I mean, they've got a huge. I mean, they've done a lot of things right, absolutely, but I think it's a very, from an organizational, from a human resource point of view, it's a very strong organization. And I'm told that it's a very strong machine that they have created, which goes on and on and on, and it's just successful. It's just innovated in all the areas. Technological innovations based on specific technology, invention, discovery. So technology would be more related to Samsung's iPhones. Social innovations in critical historic periods, more important than technological ones: male education systems, social systems, and healthcare. The other three kinds of innovations which we came across are also, you call it degree of novelty, incremental innovations, radical innovations, systematic innovations. So how does the innovation process really work? And I think we've discussed this. There clearly is a link. In this case, there is a market research element involved into it, because if you want to innovate, you definitely want to ensure that it works, it runs, it's viable, it's user friendly. So there is some kind of, in the back of your mind, there is some kind of research which you're already running in your mind. So innovation is an opportunity for something new, something different. It's always based on change, because it's the humans, it's the consumers who are buying into this product. They want change, they want something better, they want something, in case of phone, they want, I mean, iPhone and Samsung, they've really redefined how you think of your mobile to be. Innovators do not view any change as a threat, but as an opportunity. So uh, iPhone really should not, I think, was never till quite a time back. They were really not, because they knew it's a new territory they are venturing into. They're not the Nokia. It was a traditional, mobile. They went into a completely different direction, just redefining how a mobile would be. Focus. Use the limited resources in the most effective manner. Focus on one of the following: operational outputs, top quality products. I think it's all about striking the right balance. At times, you need to be focusing more in one of these elements, but there might be times where you might say, well, I need to strike a balance. It needs to be, if I'm producing a new product, it needs to be, while it needs to be good, it also needs to be economically viable, or it needs to be, say cheaper in whatever segment you're targeting. So I think the right balance is fairly important. So recommendations: solve the correct problem correctly, be effective and efficient, manage innovation as a project. I mean, don't do it. Don't, I think after a point, it should come naturally. It should just get into your DNA that, I need to constantly improve. Well, I am doing this today. How do I improve this process tomorrow? Analyze risk, very important. You don't want to take a new route and fall short somewhere, or just realize, well, it's costed you more, or it just didn't work and it was too late. Use model scenarios, computer simulations. I mean, if depending on, again, what kind of industry you are in, or product based, are you service based, etc. Study examples of successful and unsuccessful innovation projects. And me and Iyad were discussing before the seminar, we talk of so many good educational institutes coming to Dubai. We always tend to talk what is successful, what has worked, what has really worked. But there are a lot of institutions which did not do well for varied reasons. They shut down. Do we talk about them? So as a business owner, if I'm in the education training business, I also need to know what went wrong. So that clearly has a link to innovation. So what do we do? Start with analysis and study the opportunities. Go among people, ask questions, listen. You really need to be conscious what's happening in my environment. Where is the market going? Where is the opportunity? Uh, how much will it cost me? Uh, will I be able to create a niche into this? Do I need to go a niche way, or do I need to go more the volume way? Effective innovations are surprisingly simple. They must be focused on specific needs and on specific final products. Effective innovation starts on a small scale. You could be just streamlining a process within your organization, within a small silo within the whole thing. A successful innovation always tries to win a leading position, otherwise, you create opportunities for your competitors. I think that's a big statement. What to avoid? Don't try to be too clever. All that is too sophisticated will almost certainly go wrong. So I mean, don't innovate because you want to innovate or there is a target to innovate. No, don't try to do too many things at once. Focus on the core of the problem. Well, this is the problem I have today. Let me go about improvising it. Don't try to make improvisations for the future, but for today. An innovation can have a long term impact, but there must be an immediate need for it. Three conditions of innovations. Innovations means work hard, concentrated to work. If these qualities are lacking, then there is no use for the big talent, cleverness, or knowledge. Successful innovations must build on your strong points. The innovations must be important to innovator. Innovations must focus on a market. They must be controlled by the market. Absolutely. And that's where the real link with market research is. Know your market, know your competitor, know where the demand is coming. Is the demand dying out? Is the market shrinking, etc.? So know your market before, and that would really feed into your innovation. And they have to be married partners. Lastly, case study of a classic Bang & Olufsen. We just left with a few minutes. A great product which is into audio video. They make it's a Danish brand, fairly successful, very expensive when compared to its competitors. But these guys really knew where they want to go. They really took the innovation route. They really knew which market they wanted to capture. I think this brand is not much into the very limited on the consumer ends, which is the retail side of the business. They largely focus on the institutional side, fair amount of market shares within luxury hotels, etc. And that's really the high end which they want to target. So uh, again, a very strategy driven where they see themselves. They don't think they're not for the masses. They're expensive, and they believe in innovating their products. So I think that's all, Iyad, from my end. I think the innovation, market research have to go hand in hand. There has to be a business case. You need to have, you need to look at your eventual needs, requirements, financial goals. There has to be a viability thing. You just cannot innovate as we just read.